All right, we're on the St. Mary's River and we're gonna try for some whitefish with the spear gear. Got Riley with me, the water's nice and clear. Got the big old freighters going by. We're gonna work this drop off right here and all the way up to the powerhouse. See if we can't pick up some whitefish. So come along, let's go. And immediately we dive in and we got a piece of treasure, a Weber propane grill that appears to have fallen off a boat. And that's what you call a great start to the day. We don't usually get a lot of starts like that, so that was a really cool start. And as you can see, we didn't have any luck at the first spot, so we moved right up to the dam. Dude, we gotta get that. What's that? That grill. You're seeing it, right? All right, right here. 1.5, it's right there, all right. We're coming back for that. I know. We're getting that grill though. The grill's coming out. So as you heard Riley just there are lures for days. So this is a very popular pink salmon fishing location, and immediately we're running into all kinds of goodies, which we didn't expect for the first half of this trip, but that's the way it kind of goes sometimes. You jump in and there's goodies to be had, so you picked it up, and that was the first half of our dive. And as you see right there with that lure I found, there's a dead crayfish, and as we noticed as we swam around, just like this one, you'll see that crayfish claw is stuck in the line. We notice a lot of these crayfish get tangled up in these lines and either die or lose a claw as a result of it. So that's just another benefit of coming down and cleaning up some of these lures and line, is you're cleaning up the debris, which harms some of the wildlife in the area. So a win-win. Nice. You got a whole ass net? Perfect, great for holding the lures. So this is actually one of 2 nets that we found, and we gave the other one away to a fisherman, and I kept this one. And it worked out great because we found so many lures, as you'll see, not just lures, but rod holders, pliers, flashlights, every kind of thing you would keep on a boat. And we filled it up, and it worked out pretty good because we were ill-prepared for the amount of lures we were about to find. So the plan is pretty simple. All we really did was in front of these turbine bays. Some of them are active and some of them are not. So we started in front of the ones that weren't active. And generally the plan for the fishermen is they'll tie off to the dam or in some way anchor off, and they'll kind of float in the current in the turbine bays, and the water's coming out, and the salmon will sit in these bays or swim back and forth, and they'll basically feed on whatever's coming through them. They can be flies or dead minnows or whatever's coming out, and that's where a lot of the lures were located. So we were just swimming back and forth, and it was midday during the week, so there was really nobody there. So we pretty much had free reign to swim around and do whatever we wanted without disturbing anybody. We did run into a couple people. As you can see here, flashlights that appeared to have, I would say, come from the plant. That was my thought. But like I said, just lures and all kinds of things just tangled up in the rocks and debris down there. Dude, I got 3 flashlights. Like, what? So one other thing to note is if you've ever bought any of these style of lures, you'll know they run a couple more than a couple dollars, $4, $5, $6 a pop. So every one of these we're finding, some of them just need their hooks replaced, but imagine every one of them was a $5 bill just sitting on the bottom of the river here, and we're just picking them up, and it starts to add up quick. These go right into our tackle boxes, and we use them for the very same purpose that everybody else does. So another benefit to diving is getting to clean up those lures and take them home and utilize them or give them away or whatever you want to do with them.
What? Hey, I rigged the net up so you can just drop it in there. It's a basket now. Hey, as long as those treble hooks, Gavin, you should be good.
So as I was mentioning earlier, we were pretty much alone out there. We weren't disturbing any other boat anglers or salmon fishermen or anything like that. It was middle of the day, middle of the week kind of deal. So we were being as courteous as we could to everybody. So hopefully we didn't piss anybody off just by seeing our flags out there. We did anchor the boat a little ways out and left it there. And we did reposition it. But we had our flag with us and we both stayed within a comfortable radius of it while we were diving. So I think we did a pretty good job without disturbing the area and the local anglers. And speaking of local anglers, you can see one right here. He was way down in the current, like I stated earlier, and he came up to us, and this is the interaction we had.
Was it off or inside? This side?
And what he had mentioned was he was spearing in this location, and he had lost his spear. I believe the rope that it had tied to it came off. I don't know if these guys are local tribal members or what, but there are certain fish that can be speared with this method. But this is Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and the Sioux tribe is permitted to use different alternative methods of harvest for certain fish. So that is a possibility here.
Look like that? There you go. Fuck yeah, we want the whitefish.
Oh, you got something to put it in?
I understand.
I can put it in your boat.
Hell of a deal, boys.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. John.
Mine too.
Alright, there you go. This will be on YouTube and Instagram here in a little bit, so. Purely Michigan spearfishing, purely MI spearfishing. Hell yeah. Yeah. Alright, boys, thanks guys. What? It's purely MI spearfishing. You got it, brother. Of course, guys. Have a good one. I'm glad to help.
And just like that, able to help out a couple local anglers get their equipment back. So that was pretty cool, and they gave me a whitefish. So that was my first whitefish of the trip. And they got their spear back, so I'm sure they're happy. But obviously, you could tell they're happy about that. And we got to go right back to what we were doing and picking up lures and all around. That's what we like to have as experiences when we're out spearfishing. So up to this point, we had not seen a single fish while we were out there, and we were starting to get a little curious as to why if the fish were not accepting our presence in the water. And we obviously kept on doing our thing, but here in the next video clip, we finally run into our first group of fish. And that was a pretty exciting moment for me, because I had, up until this point, never really encountered a salmon underneath the water before in my life. Just like that, we run into my first school of them, and if you keep looking, there's an even bigger, yeah, right there, bigger school of them. I assume they're kings.
Lots of schools, kings.
That's what I said in the video. I'm not 100% sure if they're kings, cohos, mix. You know, it was really my first experience seeing them. So I assume some of them were kings, some of them were cohos, all mixed together. Pretty exciting moment.
You see that school? You see a school of salmon? You see a school of salmon? No? Okay. It's big.
And if you didn't catch it in the net there, Riley added a rod holder to our list of items captured. So now we're starting to get into the fish, and up until this point we've been primarily focused on collecting lures. So now we're starting to get into the mindset of paying attention to what fish we're encountering and if they're targetable in this section of the river. So at this point we had moved back down the dam toward where we started, and we were going to reposition the boat at the current where we could then pick up spearfishing. And as you can see here, Riley picked up a pair of pliers and some kind of fish counter, and he was going down to pick up the grill that we had located earlier and get that back to the boat.
There it is. I'll go grab the grate.
I got it.
You got the grate?
Yeah, look.
So the actual grate, that's what I would call it, that the actual food sits on, it fell out of the grill. So I knew it was down there. I'd seen it earlier. So I went down to pick that up, and I think I grabbed a couple more lures and swam up, got back in the boat, repositioned, and in the next video clip we start actually spearfishing, and we get into some pretty hot whitefish action. So stay tuned. This is where it all happens. This is what the good stuff is. And I should probably go over the regulations. I'll go over that in the next clip as well. And I'll add that this grate is pretty heavy. It was probably 4 pounds, 5 pounds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're swimming, that adds a lot of weight and can tucker you out real quick. So I was glad to get that in the net, grab onto the buoy so I could catch my breath. So now that we've got everything loaded into the boat and repositioned, we are a bay or two over from where the current's coming out. So now we're focused mostly on locating fish. Now we're getting more into the spearfishing mode. So let's talk about regulations. In Michigan, in all bodies of water year-round, with the exceptions of trout streams and trout lakes, underwater spearfishing is permitted for rough fish. Like carp, suckers, drum, bowfin are all permitted. Within those species, whitefish, burbot, catfish can all be harvested as well. So in this portion of the St. Mary's River, the whitefish are legal. Now, walleye, pike, and lake trout have been legal for a year or two now, but those are not targetable in this area. So that's what we were doing, is targeting the whitefish. So you have to be very specific, very careful, which you can do while you're spearfishing, to make sure you identify the fish that you are looking at before you harvest it. So this is where the selectivity of spearfishing really shines. And you'll see right here, we got, that is an Atlantic salmon, and you can see more salmon swimming around, and then right there in the mix we have a whitefish. That is the target. So now we are officially in the go zone. Now we know that the fish we're looking for are here. They're intermingled with the salmon, they're in the current, and they're feeding on the different flies and different things that are coming down through the river. And so this is when we know it's go time. Now it's forget the lures, we're going for the fish. So I go to the surface, get Riley, and it's a game on from here.
Welcome back. whitefish right here, right on the corner.
So do a little camera check, make sure I'm recording, make sure I like the position of my camera. And so this is a little different because you're actually diving from the slack water and you're hanging out in the current and you're trying to shoot at a fish that's in water, in the moving water. So it definitely took some practice to get used to. We missed a lot. So you'll see that here in a minute. But once again, you have to be very sure of your targets. And you can see them darting around, moving all around, so you have to really be careful. Like, oh, those are salmon, those are salmon. And you have to be aware of what's beyond your target to make sure if you miss or you hit it, you don't go through that fish and hit another one.
There's all kinds of them in there. So what I did, they were all sitting right in that corner, and I came up and I peeked around and I seen a big one that's sitting in the middle of them. And I was like, oh. So I don't know, maybe gotta let them restack or something. Get your float in here real quick. I keep grabbing shit off the bottom, not paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing here.
So at this point, you can tell I'm breathing pretty heavy. I'm pretty excited, so I needed to refocus my mind and get calm and focus in. And here you go. So what happened? The current is coming out right there, and that's where those fish are. So I just kind of hang onto that rock, hoping I can get closer. I don't see much, so I move in a little bit closer. And I'm just trying to grab onto something and hold on to it. You can't tell, but the current's fairly strong right here. And you can see those fish moving in. Here they come. And just an absolute terrible miss. Shot right under the fish. That was just my fault. And there goes Riley, diving right into him. That did annoy me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But here I go, round two. Come down to the corner, same thing. You see that same rock or cinder block. Move into position, grab onto this rock right here, and kind of lay still and wait. And here they come. You can tell they're just darting in and out, back and forth. Absolute. I haven't shot my gun all day, so maybe that had something to do with it, but I was just a mess.
That's 2 in a row. What?
So visibly frustrated. Now I'm getting, in my own head at this point. So third time's a charm. Dive down. I know where I need to be. Hang on and try and locate the fish. It's pretty routine thing. It wasn't a ton of complicated, nothing complicated here. It was just dive down, lay there, and wait until they get close enough and pick a target and shoot it. Very simple, and it was tougher than it looks. Didn't like my shots there, so decided to back out. And that was what I was trying to do. I was trying to dive in and then dive back to where I was launching from.
I'm just gonna get a shot.
And conditions are, I think the water temp was low 60s, and we're diving roughly 15, 18 feet, I think. Most of this was fairly shallow. So get down there. That one came right in. Beautiful opportunity, and I finally capitalized on it. So very happy with that one. That was first fish of the trip.
There we go. Nice.
So as I secure my fish, you'll be able to hear in the background Riley take a shot. There he goes right there.
the shot. We got one. All right. Woo!
And Riley's got his first one of the trip.
Let's see it. There he is. Beautiful. Nice work, dude. Finally. Barely got him, too. You need a sugar? You need a sugar?
It's
Okay.
I'll grab it.
Okay.
There's one.
Hold up your fish, yeah.
So what you can't see behind us is the Coast Guard is out there kind of patrolling, going back and forth, and we weren't sure if they were checking us out or if they were just checking their equipment. We didn't really know, so we did have a little bit of looming anxiety about whether they were going to come up and stop us, because we weren't really 100% sure if this was legal this close to the dam, because there was no signs or buoys, so we were doing it. But I take another drop, one comes in, I take a little bit further shot here and secure my second fish of the day, and a much more sizable fish. Size and bag limits for these fish are no size limit, and you can get up to 10 a day. So that's really your only restriction, just 10 a day in any combination, because there are subspecies.
All right. So currently I got 2 whitefish. Riley's got 1. We got the Coast Guard out here. Oh, looks like they died. Looks like they're gonna tow back. Never mind, I thought the Coast Guard were watching us. Looks like their boat just died. Alright, so Riley's down there. You got another one? Hey, their boat just died. They're gonna tow back. The Coast Guard. Their boat just died. They weren't watching us. Their boat just died.
So all that actually happened was they were running drills, so they had, I guess they were practicing towing boats or something like that. We did have a conversation with them afterwards, and they were perfectly fine with what we were doing.
All right, so I got 2, you got 1. All right.
They're probably watching us because they're both dying.
Yeah, it's probably 1. I don't know. All right, bro. All right, I'm gonna drive back down so I can get another one.
So returning to the bottom, finally got my breath back, and you can see right here to the right, I'll put an arrow on it. There's a walleye that came in and checked me out. That was the first walleye I'd seen in this portion of the river. So I'm a little bit more in the current at this point, and this one comes in. I kind of rushed it, and I shot right in front of them, I think. They got pretty good reaction speed, but another miss. I think it's number 3.
A nice one, though.
So going back to our conditions, you can see the water is pretty cloudy, and that kind of makes it tough to not only identify your fish, but to see them from a fairly decent distance. I think we only had about 8, maybe 10 feet at the most. So our comfortable shooting range is like 6 to 8 feet. So that's pretty tough conditions. And as you can see, I'm kind of laying on my side. I'm kind of holding the gun, and I'm trying to aim up at them because they're a little bit higher in the current. The current was stronger up top, so that's where they like to be. So I'm trying to scoot in there a little bit closer. At this point, they're starting to feel the pressure of us being there, and it seems to be pushing them a little bit further back. As you can tell, there's already a significantly less amount of fish that are visible than before. We already had, 10 or 12. Now we have, what, 2 or 3 there?
It's hard to aim this way. The current just wants to push you back, but they're still down there. Plenty of them. Good ones, too.
So next dive, we decided to do a little tandem dive. I want to kind of get a second angle of Riley here. So he arrives on the bottom, and I land right next to him so you can get a little better point of view of what it looks like to be down there and what we're actually seeing. This will really help you get a perspective of how far we can see. In front of his gun's about 3-4 feet, and as you'll see right here, those fish, they come in pretty close. That's 8 feet at most, and he just took a low angle shot. I don't think he even aimed, so that explains why he missed.
There's like 3 of them. But that was just the closest one.
So, going down, taking my turn here. Still lots of lures down there, as you've probably seen throughout these videos. We're pushing a little bit further out into that current, off that wall. The fish are pulling back a little bit on us, so we're moving out a little bit further now. Trying to have a close enough encounter to get a shot. You can hear the rocks pulling away there as I'm trying to hold on to them, so gotta reposition, which only causes the fish to be a little bit more wary. But I have a couple come in, and I was trying to get lined up on this one, and just to my left, one comes real close, and as soon as I try and move in, it darts off, and I kind of missed that opportunity. You can kind of see there on that dive that I was more in the middle of the bay there. So on this dive, I actually swam across the top to the other side of the bay, the turbine bay, to try and see what was hanging out down there. And as you can see here, there's tons of logs and it looks like milled wood, so there's definitely some debris down there. It's a snag-rich environment, I would say. You still see some shadows moving in and out, but nothing getting super close. See him come in there, darting around. But you know, that's a far shot. This one comes in a little bit better. And I shot right under it. I shot right in front of it. That might have been the current. Hard to say.
Right there, man.
So after I had repositioned, in this turbine bay, there were Atlantic salmon absolutely loaded. Big, beautiful, chrome Atlantic salmon. Some of them were sitting right on the wall, some were sitting right in the middle. And then, you know, you could see they swim away, but for the most part, they stayed pretty much right there. You could get pretty close without them spooking off. Now, I am no salmon expert. I want to make that perfectly clear. So, I am just kind of using my memory here to, you know, call out what these fish are. But I believe how you do it is, you know, the smaller-headed silver ones are the females, and the darker ones with a little bit more of a hooked nose or snout or mouth are the males. A little bit darker color. So like that one might be considered a male, and then the more chrome ones are the females. But there was so many different kinds of fish here, I couldn't tell you what was what. I don't know if it was a trout, a coho, in some of these dives. You know, I seen some pinks. I knew, you know, I could generally pick out the Atlantics, but there were some other fish that I just wasn't 100% sure of. Like in this one, I don't know. That little silverfish, like that would be an Atlantic. That's a pink salmon off to the left, kind of green with the white blotches on it. That was a kind of a dying pink. But these little silver ones, I'm not 100% sure what those are. Those just jack, coho, or I don't think they're steelhead. But I'll be 100% honest, I don't know what they are. But it was super cool just to be able to be down there and swim with these fish and get to enjoy their presence while I was down there spearfishing for whitefish. Very much enjoyed that.
That's cool.
Woo! So as you see there, we moved the boat up closer to the wall. We had a couple anglers come out, so we didn't want to have our boat out off the edge. So we just parked it and we stayed basically right underneath our boat. And we told them they were welcome to come as close as they felt comfortable. And we told him we'd stay right underneath the boat. So little, another tandem dive, trying to get some more POV footage of Riley and what he's seeing. And as you can tell, same kind of deal. Very hard to see. You can just see little shadows kind of darting in and out. Wasn't able to get a shot on any of these.
Alright, we're gonna probably call this our last dive or two. As you can see, they're just spooky little fish. They come in, they dart around, they don't like to get too close, and they're not super big targets, so long breath holds are definitely required. Hopefully we get one more before we head out of here. It's almost getting pretty dark. Here goes Riley, so fingers crossed. Let's get it.
So I go back to this turbine bay where these Atlantic salmon are, and I take a dive down there, and I swim up closer to. There's like a wall that's split in two before it comes out to the main opening, and I swim down there, pretty much right up next to that, and just to get some more footage of these fish. And as I'm doing that, I turn around, and there's a wall of whitefish right in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god. So I set the camera down, and you see my spear gun laying on the ground there because I'm just trying to get footage of them holding on to the bottom. I take my shot, and I get my, I think it was like my third or fourth one of the day. Pulling on my drag. So before I was so rudely interrupted by those whitefish, I returned back to the turbine bay to get some more footage. And I do have a very close encounter with a Atlantic salmon swim right up to me, and that was pretty cool, which you'll see here in a moment. But this is, you can see there's a little shelf here where you can hold on to. You're kind of below the current, so you don't get pushed around too bad. But this is where a lot of those fish hang out, and that makes sense why tying off to the dam and then casting up in there is so successful. They're all pretty far back in the bays there. You can see lots of debris, cables and such, so you got to be careful when you're swimming down there, not to get entangled. Here comes that would be a male. You can see his hook nose a little bit there. He's dark color. I would call that a male Atlantic salmon. Like I said, I'm not an expert, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's a brown trout, but I don't think so. See some more. All over in there. So cool. Just like a living aquarium. Big old Atlantic. I mean, that's just so cool. Surrounded by them.
Well, there's the final result right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 whitefish with Riley up on St. Mary's River. Pretty good day. A lot of work swimming in that current, but those little fast torpedo whitefish were finally managed to get some of them, so worked out. Pretty good day. So now you know where to get them. Go get them, guys. See you out here on the next one. So this is the grill I just found underneath the water. And it still works. I don't know how long it's been underwater, but it's got some markings on it. Just found this in the bottom of the St. Mary's River. It's a Weber. Fired right up, no problem. I thought that was so impressive. And we got Riley, Chef Riley here. He's gonna cut up this whitefish that I did an absolute hack job on. I just wanted to like body it, but we're gonna cut it in half and we're gonna cook it on the very grill we found. We got a little bit of butter and some Old Bay seasoning. Shout out Old Bay. Let's see if I can get an angle over the top here. Oh yeah, beautiful. Camp style, you know, got the fire going. We probably should cook it over the open fire, but we're not going to. We're gonna cook it on the Weber grill because that's just a cooler story. And Riley's all about cool stories.
Somebody cut all the fins off it. I'm not sure how or why.
Look at that meat.
That's why they call it a whitefish, not because of the white scales, but because of the white meat. They're also known as...
I thought we were just gonna cook it whole, shit. And for those of you who ask what the condition of the fillets is after we spear them, here's your answer. You see that? That's all our spear chefs do to fish when we shoot them in the fillets. So that's, I mean, we're gonna eat that, so it's no big deal. I mean, look at this, almost nothing.
Look at that.
All right, look at this. This is completed. I already tried our first bites, but whitefish on the Weber grill from the water. From, what do they call it? Some seed of fork, right? Seed of fork.
That's really good.
Delicious. Very mild. I mean, didn't over season it. Just a little bit of butter and Old Bay. It's garlic butter and Old Bay, but I mean, look at what you can get.
Just from spearfishing.
Just from spearfishing.
You get the fish, you get
a good ass day under the water. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Get out there and go kill some fish and clean up the waterways. Let's go.